More than I need, what you want, girl, it's yours. Give me your feelings, I just can't ignore. 'Cause all I want is you, baby. Give me your time, all your love, I've been paid.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Russell the Fourth.
Hey everybody, it's me, Brandy.
And welcome to season 5 of the What They Never Told Us podcast. We back. I don't even remember which one's the air horn. Hey. It's so good to be back. I hope y'all see the vibes. First of all, we need to let you know, if you're not watching via YouTube, make your way to YouTube. You got to see this. The orange wall is gone.
We've been working hard to update our set to make it, more of a vibe, more of a like relaxing, calming atmosphere than like a stuffed studio. So y'all let us know how we did. We are not done. We have a couple more finishing touches, but we have been going for long enough. We're like, look, it's good enough. Yeah. Let's get the people what they want. So we back.
We had to come back. The last episode of last season, we were in a different location, and we were talking about our producer who was going to be producing us, and he was a big part of the location that we were in. Since then, shout out to Ryan, if you remember Ryan he's been on the show before.
The Locker Room episode. If you're a loyal What They Never Told Us fan, you
Day
remember
one.
that episode.
Yeah, but Ryan, who's just so dope at videography and lighting and all that good stuff, he took a job in DC. So DMV, we love you, but it's a little beef right now because you took the homie. But shout out to him. He's doing well. So we had to call audible. We had to go back to the drawing board. And after we were looking forward to the new location, it just seemed, I don't want to speak for you, but it seemed kind of weird coming back to the orange wall and just giving y'all the same vibes. Brandy was much more adamant about change. And like, we got to switch it up. So that's what we did.
But he was just home for Thanksgiving break, which was really cool. We have I don't know. I've got mixed feelings from my family about this. So when we go live, we're going to need y'all to talk about this. But we've been very vocal about the size of our home. So we have a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, but we have 5 kids. So when Michael moved out, that left a free room. So what we did was we converted his room into a room for Cinco and Lily when they come. So now when Michael comes home for break, he ain't got no place to stay. I be getting a little flack for that. Like, how could you? But to me, how could I sit and leave a empty room and then have our other 2 children sleep on the floor when they come or on the couch?
Yeah.
And just have a room on reserve for when he come back every so often. Like, I felt bad. So he's staying at my mom's house when he come. He a little salty. he a little salty about it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta do what we gotta do until we get a bigger house.
You telling all our business.
I feel like this is our family. Like, we've talked about way worse than that. You can talk about how you boo-booed on yourself, and I can talk about how I had toilet paper stuck in my butt.
That's fun. That's fun.
At the gynecologist, I think we could talk about giving up a bedroom for one of our kids.
Yeah. What else has happened?
I don't know. What else has happened?
We're at
I feel
war.
like, are you trying to get to something? Well, we not at war.
The U.S. is involved. We involved. It's war going on.
Yeah.
Oh man. So another thing that's happened during the off season is we have both stepped into speaking more. How dope she is at just speaking. And I mean, y'all listen to the podcast all the time. Y'all know when she hits a nerve and when she hits on something that she's passionate about, she can go and absolutely body that conference. There's still people talking about that. I had a chance to speak in Memphis. Shout out to Kia, Dr. Kia, in Memphis. Shout out to The Well. Went down there. That was really dope. So that's been picking up. So there's other things that have been happening outside of the podcast, and the podcast has definitely opened us up to doing things outside of it. So that's been really dope. I've been really enjoying that.
Yeah, so y'all have to share us now. So if we be going on a little hiatus, this is not because we sick and tired. It's because like life been lifing in a good way. Like we've been able to spread our wings. We're more involved in ministry now, and so it's a big deal. It's a lot happening, but this is definitely our second love. I can't say first love, but it is definitely our second love, and we happy to be back.
Absolutely. Hope your Thanksgiving was dope. We just kind of just glazed past that. Thanksgiving just passed. I hope your holiday was well. Hope you had a wonderful time with your family. Even if you didn't, hope you had some time to just rest and chill for a little bit before going back to the grind. So shout out to that. What is the most overrated Thanksgiving food to you?
Overrated
Sweet
potatoes, like yams.
Sweet potatoes?
Yes. It's like
You disrespectful.
It's like, just give me a sweet potato pie. I do not need no cinnamon
You
sugar,
disrespectful.
sweet potatoes on my plate.
So like whatever to me.
Like says who?
What, that is the main Thanksgiving, the
Pilgrims?
history of
like,
it.
The
mascot of Thanksgiving is a giant turkey.
Like I feel like people just have assimilated to that. Like nobody said Thanksgiving you have to have turkey.
No one said you have to have it, but it is, in terms of Thanksgiving, it's like the main meat that they talk about.
Save the turkeys. I'm having ham. We had beef short ribs
because it's overrated, right? It's overrated. Like even a great turkey to me is still just it's still turkey.
You got a little season, got a little flavor. Fry it a little.
You
crispy.
fried it? Okay, cool. It's still turkey.
And it's not. I heard a lot of people say, "Well, if your turkey dry, you're not cooking it right." Like it's not that it's dry.
Even
like
if it's juicy, it's still just turkey.
Give me a chicken. Give me a Cornish hen.
It's a bland meat. It don't hold flavor like the. First of all, when you got to do all of that to make it taste like something, you got to inject it. You got to cover it in cheesecloth. You got okay.
Cheesecloth.
Yeah, there's people covering cheesecloth so it holds moisture. You putting butter and seasoning under the skin. You doing all that.
Wait a minute, because I do all that to my chicken, so I feel like you're being a little shady.
No, but you got to do that to a turkey. So like this, you do that for your chicken. Chicken was bomb too. Chicken is bomb. But you don't have to do that. If you do enough with the outside, it'll still be a great chicken.
But you're right.
Because them rotisserie chickens at the grocery store, I'm for sure ain't nobody rubbing no seasons up under the skin. And they still do what they got to do. So yeah, things is overrated. You know what I thought about that?
I don't.
There's a guy who we connected with online. What's his name? I can't think of his name. He's on IG. Anyways, he's got a huge platform. He was with the president, the vice president. Keir Gaines said, just not with Thanksgiving in general, but the most overrated food of all time is macaroni and cheese. He said, like, y'all, come on, like, y'all hype it up. It's just salty, cheesy noodles, y'all. Like, even the bomb mac and cheese, like, I know what you gonna tell me. Like, he was on a podcast standing on business. He was like, y'all, you gonna tell me, like, you ain't have my auntie. No, yeah, stop it. It's just salty noodles.
I mean, he not wrong, but, like, in the category of salty noodles, like, ramen, macaroni and cheese, like... It's good salty noodles. Like, it might just be that. Like,
but
cool.
It's good.
Watermelon is just a watermelon, but it's bomb. Like,
right? Like, you gotta appreciate for what it is.
You gotta put no tahini and no salt and all that on it. Like, it's good.
I was like, yo.
I mean, I could see where he was going.
Yeah.
But nah. That's fair.
Shout out to Keir Gaines, friend of the show. If you watching this, just know we heard you and we don't agree. Okay? Get your takes together, my brother.
Especially this year, because my macaroni and cheese was on fire. It was on fire.
Pause. Okay. There was a bit of me that was mourning macaroni and cheese. Okay. For those of y'all who don't know, almost none of y'all know. Brandy prefers stovetop to baked macaroni.
Now, you got to clarify, because I don't want people trying to come for me like, you like Kraft macaroni and cheese, like Velveeta shelter cheese. No, I just prefer to make my macaroni and cheese on the stove. It don't have to go in the oven and get that little crust. Like, I'm good.
Now, even the greatest stove top mac and cheese, like mac and cheese that's made on the stove, is not the same without that layer of cheese on top that gets gooey and gets crispy on the edges. Like, that's a pivotal part of the black people mac and cheese experience.
I don't need it.
And for whatever reason, Randy was just like, yeah, I don't prefer that. And I was like, oh, okay. And I think about this. I was like, wait a minute. I gotta see, can I go the rest of my life without this type of mac and cheese? You know what I mean? But her stove, I'm not hating. Her macaroni and cheese is good, okay? But there's a black people mac and cheese that's like core to our culture, okay?
Black people macaroni and cheese.
But this Thanksgiving, okay, to my surprise, mac and cheese was in the oven, okay? And when it came out, I was like, okay, I don't want to get too hype about this because she might have just, you know how the mac and cheese you just throw in there just to melt the cheese, you know what I'm saying? But no, this was a legitimate, like, baked mac and cheese, and it was bomb. It was so good. I ate so much mac and cheese.
We have probably spent 7 minutes talking about just food.
I just feel like, what's the problem?
It's giving real obese.
I mean, what's the problem? Like, it's Thanksgiving. But man, we miss y'all so much. You have no idea. Like, there are people who we've connected with from the podcast who we have never seen face to face, but we know because they just been rocking with us for so long. I know Sherelle, that's the homie. Tamika, never seen her, but that's the homie. Like, there's just so many people who we connected with, and it's so dope to like finally be back with y'all. We missed y'all.
Absolutely.
Live's gonna be going on
a little bit. I mean, like, I like y'all. I like kicking it. I like recording. But baby, when that time off comes, and I could just...
She don't know how to come back.
Listen, it's my fault. Blame me. What's up? I can fight. So come on. Like, I get in a groove. Like, coming down here and recording, like, it's still a bit of like, I gotta pump and prime myself up to like, okay, we about to do this, we about to do this, we about to do this. And any excuse. Yeah. I'm like, nah, we shouldn't. Nah, come on. We should just like wait till next week.
She the next week me to
It started snowing today. I was like, oh, I do not want to record. It's snowing outside.
Yeah. Like, it wasn't just that though. There were like legitimate things that happened, deaths in the family. So we ain't gonna drag on too much about that. But I mean, I ain't putting it all off on her.
It's my fault. I will take that blame.
It was a couple weeks. It was legitimately like, it's not a good week. Like, we gotta go to the grocery store. Like,
and then he gonna try to yell at me today because I said I do not think we should record today.
We're
gonna record. I said, oh, okay.
I was
all right, sir.
I had ran out of all my understanding. It was like, okay, now this is ridiculous. Like, let's cut on the camera.
Well, we here, so
we are.
And like I had said before, it does take a different level of commitment. Like,
it's
if
work.
You're going to run a legitimate podcast, like, I know I hear people talk about it. I should start a podcast. It's not just sitting down and turning on the camera and spewing what's on your mind. Like, you have to be interesting. You got to have, nice clothes on. You got to have yourself together. You got to have the right equipment. And you
gotta be
have
social.
to be, and you have to be mentally in the space to do this.
Absolutely.
Because I talk to him every day. So then to come down here and change our conversation in the way that we talk so that it's engaging, so that's inviting, it's interesting. It's a lot. It's a full-time job. So
absolutely. And then, like, not for nothing, like, every day of the week there's something to do. Like, when we're doing the season, like, we all have our roles. We was looking forward to that producer this year. But because we don't,
right.
a lot of the tech stuff, the setup during the season, most of that falls on me. It's a shared work. Editing those clips every single day, that's Brandy. Editing the episodes down, it's work.
And it's not a complaint. It's just telling y'all, like, it's a lot that goes into it, but we are 100% committed to coming here, having those conversations that nobody ever had with us, the stuff that nobody ever told us, and sharing it with y'all so that when we are walking this journey, number one, y'all walking it with us, y'all seeing it firsthand. And then when it's y'all turn to walk the journey, or if y'all are currently walking the journey, like, that you got some cousins along with you. So we are fully committed to continuing the podcast for as long as we can. And yeah, like, we're here. We love y'all.
That part.
We in it.
That part. Anything we miss about stuff that happened while they were gone?
I don't think so.
Oh my God. Yes, we did.
Oh Lord.
Brandy's a sleep talker and walker.
Well, I've been that. You just got to experience it. I don't walk. I move, but I don't walk. You have to be clear. I don't walk around the house.
If you can have conversations, get up, do actions, you're a sleepwalker, not legitimately walking around. Listen, it's the middle of the night. I feel somebody wake me up. Baby. I'm like, oh, shoot, what's going on? She said, it's a bug. I said, what? It's a bug on the wall. You got to kill it. So I'm like, all right, let me get up, do my husbandly duty, right? Like, this falls under my umbrella. I got to kill this bug, dramatic. Right? It was very dramatic. Thank you for acknowledging that. I get up. So I'm looking at the wall. Now, I can't see nothing. Granted, it's a dark room, so I'm like, maybe since it's on her side of the bed now, maybe I just can't see it. I said, baby, you got to shine your light. So she has enough wherewithal to reach over on her side of the bed on the nightstand, find her phone. And she had to look for it because she was fumbling around, found the phone. Enough wherewithal to go to her phone, unlock it, turn on the light, flash it to the wall. I'm still thinking she's awake right now. We're looking at the wall, half asleep, both of us. We looking at the wall. I said, and then it hits me because I glance at her and she's like this. you gotta be on YouTube to get the visual. This is it. I said, baby, are you sure you've seen a bug? And this is right here. Every time I get to this part, a fire gets in my stomach. She said, as sure as I can be, falls down and goes right back to sleep. As sure as I can be. I said, oh. No. Now, I can't go right back to sleep. I don't move like that. Like, when I'm up, I'm up.
That sounds like a you problem. Now, in my defense, I do have a defense for this because I do believe that at some point I was awake. I think I might have dreamt that I saw a bug and then woke up thinking like it's real, it's a bug. And all the flashlight and stuff, like it had to be for real. I had to be up and cognizant.
You weren't awake or cognizant.
But the side part of that is if I was, like, I think I would remember. And I don't remember any of it.
The next morning she said, I thought that was a dream. I said, because when it hit me, I said, babe, last night, do you remember? It was like this.
I tried, y'all.
I said, oh. No, she's not asleep right now.
It's not my fault. Like, I can't control that. Like, I don't know. And then, the funny part about it is then I got scared. So if anybody watches Yellow Jackets, you would know why. But at the current time, I was watching Yellow Jackets, and one of the girls in there like is basically a serial killer in her sleep.
Oh
so
God.
then I got really scared. Like, babe, if I get up out the bed, like you need to stop me because now I'm scared. What I'm gonna do? She had killed her puppy and everything. Like I was like, oh my God, like
it's the show. Okay.
So I just think, you know what I'm saying, you gotta be careful what you watching and them spirits getting in. I think that's what happened. That little sleep demon
low key,
got on
you
me.
I ain't seen you watch that show
I'm
since.
telling you.
Okay.
I scared myself. I said, I rebuke that.
But you
in
know
the
what?
name of Jesus.
It is as funny as it is. Like I do enjoy like peeling back new layers or like just new things that happen. Like we definitely have a system, a groove, what our everyday looks like. And when you get a little sprinkle of like, when did this start happening? It was fun. Yeah. So it kind of brings me back to, I think what we're here to talk about today, and just in general, because we've been talking about doing this for a minute, right? Where we really unpack the standard or the traditional marital vows, right? And where we have episodes that kind of revolve around that. So it's not just this season. I think when we feel the nudge or the push to unpack one, we'll do that. So sickness and health, right? Like talking to people who legitimately have walked through that, bringing them to the audience, and let's unpack what that really looks like for those of us who have never been through that, and for those of us who have, right? Mm-hmm. Let's talk about how you navigate through that. And when you do life with somebody, at any point, anything can happen. What are the other vows? I'm tripping. Till death do us part.
Richer or poor.
Richer or poorer. like we say those things, and as two people who have been divorced, right, we gotta revisit those things, right? So what's the one we're gonna talk about today?
Commitment. That's not a vow.
Till death do us part.
Talk about commitment.
Till death do us part. That's the ultimate commitment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, through your alley, you got you was ready.
There's a lot of people who be in it to death do they part and they not committed. Let's be clear. Let's be clear.
But I think that's why it's important to talk about, because I'm one of those people. I said that.
You said what? That
till death do us part.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, and it's like we got to really unpack that. Like for me, I was glad that we didn't do the traditional vows, right? Because in our counseling, you said like, no, there are some negotiables. Like there's some things that
there's some stuff that
I don't know if I can get through, right? And you got to be honest with that. But it's some tension that you got to sit in and be honest with, like when you start talking about that.
Yeah, I think like it sounds good. It sounds really good when you're in marriage counseling or when you're at the altar to be like, I would never leave you. I would die for you. Like there's nothing that you could do to ever make me leave you. But the truth is like there are some things, and being divorced previously, like it got me to thinking like it might be some stuff, because if you start acting the way he acted, I'm not sticking around just to be abused and to be mistreated. I don't think it has anything to do, that part in particular has anything to do with the level of commitment that you have to someone, like, but it's the type of relationship that you're willing to maintain that leads to how committed you are and how committed you should be in a relationship. Because there's a lot of people out here who are in relationships, won't leave each other alone, but are not truly committed to one another. They're just committed to making or to staying married. And I don't want to be just committed to staying married. Like I want to be committed to you. I want us to be who we are together until death do us part. I don't just want to be in a marriage and say I committed, I stuck to my vows, and it's death do us part, and you putting me through hell. No, sorry.
Yeah, but I do. For me, I wrestle with that. Not commitment. I don't wrestle with commitment, but I think I hold, and we talked about this. We unpacked this in marriage counseling, where I held a lot of guilt for my decision to leave.
Absolutely.
Right. And this is a thought I had to come to grips with, and a tension I had to like be comfortable living with, right? I said till death do us part. I said for better or worse, but when it got worse, I left. Right? And I think when we talk about unconditional love, right? Of course, there's some things like no human being should have to endure. Like when we talk about physical abuse, we talk about your life being threatened. When we talk about being abused in general, your children being abused, there's some things that no human being should have to endure, right?
Absolutely.
But when we just talk about navigating hardships, when we talk about working through issues, that's where we got to be comfortable being like, okay, did you do that? I didn't do that. And I'm not saying I regret the decision.
Yeah,
I'm not saying, because I know God had a plan. I know all of it worked together for the good. But I am 100% sure that the first time I got married, I did not have a full grasp on what I was saying at that altar. It was the traditional vows. But if I'm being honest with you, when I thought about that, I don't know if it held weight with me like it does now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree. Like when I think the main problem is that we want to be committed. We want to be in healthy, fulfilled marriages, but we're not willing to do the work to make sure that that person is the right person. So when I get with you and I'm feeling all the feels and it feels good in these moments, and maybe you treat me well up front, but I'm not going any further than the surface. I'm not digging down. We're not having those real conversations to understand what are your desires, what are your long-term goals, what are your non-negotiables, what are some of the things that are about me right now that long-term you might not be able to handle, you might not be able to deal with. And then we don't have those conversations up front, when we're just so excited to be at the altar and say that we're someone's husband or someone's wife. Like, we can make a mistake and commit ourselves through covenant to someone who God never intended us to be with. And when you're in that type of union and you're trying to do all the right things and make it work with the wrong, quote unquote, the wrong person, it can make sticking it out for the long haul very, very, very difficult, which is why it's so important to do all of the work up front, so that when you're married, it's still going to be work, but you know that y'all are working together and y'all not working against each other. And I think that's what happens a lot, is once now we're married, we fall back on some of the stuff that we did to get there, to get to that place, or again, it's just not the right person. And now we're struggling to make something work because we made this vow and this commitment, versus doing the work to say, maybe up front, maybe you're not the person that I should be married to. Yeah.
And honestly, like, I think people need to understand, like, it's a continuous work as well. Like, I saw a post today on Facebook that said you need to make sure that you marry somebody or you're with somebody who has the same love language as you. Because if you know you like to give and receive love through physical touch and you're with someone who doesn't like physical touch, then it's not going to work, right? Now, I will say that does present a challenge, like, for sure. If I need to be touched and you legitimately don't like touching me, if I like to express love by touching and you legitimately don't like to be touched, that's going to be a problem. Unless you're willing to acquiesce, if you're willing to sacrifice with how you communicate, like if you're willing to make changes and change the way you give and receive love, then it can work. Our love languages aren't the same, right?
And it's been a challenge for us.
For sure. But it's one that we've been able to navigate because, number one, we communicate. Number two, we're willing to make changes. You know what I'm saying? And that's a continuous thing. It's not like, oh, you said it to me once and, oh, I'll just know to do it. No, it's like a continuous thing. Like, hey, you got to remind you, or like, hey, just so you know, I'm getting low on the, you know what I mean? I need your help. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need some acts of service, or I need some quality time, or I need, these are things that we got to continue to have a conversation. That happened recently.
Absolutely. That's why I said, like, it's a struggle for us. Like, again, we always say we never gonna come from this platform and be like, oh, we got it all figured out. Nah, like, we have two very distinctly different love languages. Like, it's not as if one of mine is physical touch. It's really low on the list, right? But it's really high on your list. Acts of service, quality time. I think we can we can see how we can fill each other's buckets in those ways, and we do a great job of trying to meet each other there. But that physical touch one is one that we struggle with often. I struggle with, let me say that, because you are good with being touchy-feely, and it's not natural for me. And I think it's because I have dealt with issues of rejection. So I feel like when I initiate that, if it's never reciprocated or received, yeah, I'm gonna be like, nope, I'll never do that again. He can forget it. Yeah. So I will talk I would not in this relationship. I don't think I talked myself out of it, but I think I've done so much talking myself out of it in the past that I've convinced myself that it's not a need for me. Yeah. So I don't even initiate, I won't say that. I don't initiate physical touch outside of the bedroom a lot.
For sure. Yeah. And it's something we've had to navigate. And for the most part, like, love languages change. Like, just because right now in this season of your life, you really enjoy touching, 10 years from now, you might not be that person anymore. Mm-hmm. You might be in a season where I need to be affirmed. Like, I need you for whatever reason, whatever is going on in my life right now. I need you to verbally affirm me. I need you to tell me you miss me. I need you to tell me you love me. Right? So you have to be malleable. Like, we ain't talking about just being with somebody, like, in a relationship. We're talking about doing life with somebody. And human beings are subject to change.
Yeah. And I wish the first time I got married that I had more examples of marriage in front of me. Yeah. And not just like, oh, I know them, they're married, but a really up close and personal view of what it's like to actually live and function as a unit. Because I do well by myself. Like, knock that thing. I smoke single life. Like, being a single mom was like, I got this. It's in the bag. Mm-hmm. But having to marry that now with another person and being super strong-willed and used to everything going my way, now understanding even little stuff like who's gonna drive or like who's gonna wash the dishes or who's gonna take the kids somewhere it's a discussion. And I'm not used to that. Like, I'm not used to talking about how things run. I remember just the other day, you were like, you are not a good communicator because something had changed with the kid's dad and me, like, in their schedule of coming home or going. I can't remember which one it was. And I didn't tell you that. It's still something that I have to get used to being like, okay, there's another person that I have to consult with, and not having those examples in front of me of like the real life struggles of marriage, like the real everyday, okay, how are you going to work through this? And then just being hit in the face with it when I got married, it was like, oh, I'm not cut out for none of this. And I truly wasn't. I can say that. Before, I think it was easy to be like, he was the problem. That's why we got divorced. But the truth is, like, I was the problem too. Like, I contributed to the demise of my marriage because I didn't know how to work together.
For sure.
And that's really, I think, what I want people to get from this platform is like, yes, I love each other. Yes, we have so much fun together. Yes, we make each other laugh, but like, we still struggle. And it's not a struggle that is to the death of us. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, hey, this is a problem that we have to address. How do we work through that? And I think that's where the commitment comes in, is the fact that I've said, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. And I want it to be good. Like, not just good. I want it to be great. So if there's anything that I need to do, let's talk about it. And when I have stuff that I need from you, I need to have a space to come and say that, and you be receptive, and that there's changed behavior associated with that, so that when we do this, it's good. Yeah. Because I don't want to just do it just for the sake of doing it.
For the sake of conversation, what was, if you could name anything that made you go back to your commitment, or made you question your commitment, or made you be like, is this what I want? between us, what would you say that be?
It's I won't say it's always gonna come back to, but because I feel like that's
it's always gonna be this.
It's always gonna be you and your baby mama. Like, but for real, that was the one thing that I was like, if their relationship does not change, I don't know if I can do this. Just because, and it's so like we come into relationships, it's not just Brandy that you see in front of you. It's Brandy Baines, which is who she was born as, Brandy Pierce, which is what she married into, and all the things that I've experienced as those previous versions of the person that you see in front of you. So I'm carrying all of that with me, not as a hindrance or weighing me down, but it's part of my experience. It's part of what made me who I am today. And so all of those things that I've been through, that I've experienced in previous relationships, seeing the relationship that y'all had gave me a red flag. It was like, you are not going to be able to handle this. Not that y'all were doing anything wrong or inappropriate. It's just that who I am, I don't think that I don't know how I fit into that scenario. And I don't know if I can do life with this person and always constantly have to almost question where I stand in his life. Like, I don't ever want it to be a question of me like, who comes first? And in that scenario, in the time where we were really dealing with that was the biggest question in my head. Like, she has his kids. I know how much he loves his kids. So when it come down to it, who is he going to put first? Her or me? And when we were going through it in counseling, I didn't know the answer to that. And so I was like, yo, I'm about to.
You got the answer now?
I do have the answer. I do know that I come first now.
Dab me up, dog. I got you.
But I also believe that came with maybe not you changing necessarily how you felt about that situation, but just how you acted it out.
What you mean?
So I don't think your desire to continue to remain friends with her has changed. I don't think your commitment to making sure that because she raises your kids, she's good and she will never go without. I don't think that has changed. I don't think the desire for you to just...
But
how you approach it is different. Okay. You're not answering the phone whenever she calls all types of the night. You're not running over there to be Captain Saver, baby mama.
She was calling all types of night?
No, I'm not saying that. Okay. I'm just giving you examples.
Hold on, wait a minute. When was that happening?
I'm just saying things that could have happened. Yeah. That's not you anymore. And I appreciate the fact that although we had to pull a couple teeth to get there, we got there, and the heart of the matter was like, no, you're important to me, and I will do whatever you need. And I needed you to hear that I wasn't saying that you were doing anything wrong. It's just who I am. I'm not sure that I can spend the rest of my life wondering where I fall in your life.
And I couldn't hear that.
Right.
Every time I heard it, just felt like you're doing something. I'm like, what am I doing? I think the lens that we were looking at that situation through just didn't allow us to see it from each other's perspective at the time, when we first started talking about it. So that was a process for sure. And some things you got to live through. Like, at the time when we left that conversation, we didn't have all the answers, but we were like, okay, we're committed to this, so let's walk it out. And as we walked it out, we were able to work through it in real time. You know what I mean? I think a lot of times, when we get in the heat of the dispute, or when we're feeling the intensity of whatever the situation is, and I don't mean us in general, but I think people in general, we want the answer now. We want the immediate gratification of problem solved. You hear what I'm saying? Don't let it happen. It's like, and it never works like that.
Right.
Sometimes you don't leave the conversation feeling good about it. You leave the conversation with, at baseline, I'm committed. At baseline, I'm not going nowhere. You're not going nowhere. So let's walk this thing out. You know what I mean? And that can be easier said than done. But it all goes back to this whole conversation got birthed out of a quote we heard from Pastor Darius Daniels, and he said, for lack of a better term, issues don't affect commitment; it exposes it.
Right. So like your level of commitment is measured really in those difficult times, and the truth of whatever your situation is should never destroy or change how committed you are to a person. And if it does, you weren't very committed.
Yeah, it's like if this happened and it made you be unfaithful, if this happened and it made you leave me, it wasn't the issue that made you uncommitted. It just exposed how committed you were to begin with. And
I believe that we hear that a lot. Like, she wasn't, he wasn't, so I went elsewhere and got that.
She wouldn't do this, so I found somebody who would.
Right. But to me, your deficiency in an area doesn't mean that I run to somebody else to be fulfilled. Your deficiency in the area means that we need to sit down and have a conversation and figure out how you become proficient and sufficient enough to sustain our relationship.
And it just exposed you.
Yeah, right.
Like, yeah, maybe you'd like it more if I did this in bed, right? Maybe it's something that you really desire. Maybe I'm not doing it to the degree or to the quantity that you would desire. But if that causes you to cheat on me, it's not my lack that did that. Now we can talk about like how to like navigate that and what needs to happen. But if that made you cheat, that always was in you.
Yeah, you weren't.
This didn't make you do that. That was in you to begin with. Yeah. This just exposed it. And I thought that conversation was just that quote is so heavy. It's so much in that to unpack. And
I believe that is really the basis of why I made that statement before. Is like, for me, cheating is a deal breaker. Like, I've seen so many people be successful from cheating and coming back and working through relationship. They all talk about how difficult it was and how it almost broke them and all of those things. But to me, if you cheat on me, and I'm not talking about me and you, I'm just saying in general, like if you cheat on me, you're not, I mean, I'm talking about you for sure, but I'm saying, I'm speaking in generalities here. If you cheat on me, it tells me that you are not committed to me. If you are not committed to me, why do I want to be in a relationship with you? Like, I don't want to be in a relationship with you and you learn how to be committed to me. Yeah. You need to be committed to me before we walk down the aisle. Like, I need to know where your head is. And I understand that people make mistakes and things happen, but to me, cheating is not one of those things. Like, that don't just happen. That's intentional. That takes some planning. That takes some arousing. It takes some stuff to get you there. Yeah. So to me, again, it just exposes your level of commitment to the person that you're with. And I'm not willing to fight for you to be committed to me. I just need you to be that. I respect where you land on that. I don't share those same feelings. That's fine. But I respect where you're coming from. And I know you laying there based on your life experiences and what you're willing to tolerate. But when you say those things to me, you can't say better or worse. Because if you saying that's the worst, then you'll leave. So, but better or worse, like I do have an issue with these vows. But better or worse is basically saying that, like, as bad as it get, I'm not going nowhere. That's not even as bad as it can get. It ain't. It ain't. It ain't as bad as like. There's way worse things that can happen in a marriage. But I feel you. Like, you're entitled to feel how you feel. I'm more speaking on like why I land where I land. Like, for me, I think, and it might be because of what I felt and what I went through internally after my first marriage, but I think it made me leave with a little more resolve. I can't say if you cheated on me, I'm automatically gonna leave. Like, I wouldn't even say that. Now, am I saying that going through that in real time, would I not land there? I don't know, but I'm not going into it like automatically. Like, if you do this, I'm gone, because I really want to believe that. I want to believe. Now, this is once again, this is easier said than done, right? So I'm not. That's why I said I respect where you're coming from, because I think it's an honest reaction. I think it's an honest answer, right? I'm more of a
what do you call it? I'm more lean towards what I would love to happen, right? Optimism.
Yeah.
You're more of a realist, right? Like for me, I really want to love you like Christ loved the church. I wholeheartedly desire that. Right. And if I say that, if I stand on that, I can't say that I'm gonna leave you if you cheat on me, because that's not what Christ would do. That's not how Christ loves the church. And if I really believe that, if I'm like, yo, God, I want to be the priest of my household, I want to love my wife like you love the church, I gotta stand on that. And I can't fold when you do something that hurts me. And I can't even think of something more hurtful than that. To me, I can't even picture you doing that. But if it happened, it would break me. But I really want to believe we can work through it. And I really want to believe that I'm the man that will love you through that and will bring my family back under, you know what I'm saying, the covenant. And I want to believe that I can be used by God in that way. Now, in real time, who knows? Like, you know what I'm saying? But I just, I've seen so many people who have went through this and have gotten past it. I've seen people have come back from drug addiction and all manner of stuff. And I want to be that guy. I really want to be that version of myself.
I believe that our hearts are in the same place. Even though we come from opposite sides of the spectrum, I come from initially, I know what my reaction is going to be. Like, I know me, I lived with this person for 38 years. I know, like, I don't want to hurt you. So I'm just going to leave you. Like, I feel like we don't need to go to jail behind you not being able to control yourself. Like, I'm just going to leave. It's not for me. So I'm just going to bounce for both of our safety and for the peace of mind. Yeah. I'm just going to leave. But my heart in the matter is, I believe we can get through anything. And I want to be the one to be like, you know what? If we have to walk through this, we're going to walk through it together. I'm not going to feel good about it. I'm not going to understand it. I'm going to want to hurt you. But God can heal our relationships. And I'm never one to say like what God can't do. I can only speak for what I feel in myself for Brandy. And for Brandy, like, not there another one. Like, I'm really gonna feel like you. Like, you. It's been too many, but you. Oh, I done hit my mother, knock my teeth out. But you, we can't do that. Yeah. Like, it just. Yeah. But I also have experienced that the one thing that you say you can't deal with is usually what God put in front of you and be like, where your heart at? Yeah. So maybe I should start saying something else so we don't have to never walk through that.
That ain't gonna make me cheat.
I will forgive him.
All right, now look what I'm gonna make him do. Is what you're saying. You do not.
I was just kidding.
God do not move like that. Man, there's so many couples I love and so many like people I love in real time who have come back from this. And it's a work in progress. And I know people who struggle and they grit and they bear to make it past infidelity. And I have so much admiration for these couples. The people I haven't even like really even said this to, but I know they've been through some things and I look at them with such admiration, because when I say like that's a different type of love. Like in society's eyes, they'll be criticized. In society's eyes, they'll be called soft and weak because you endured something. But I think that it's easy to I think the easy thing to do is you hurt me, you leave. I protect myself. I don't got to work through nothing. I'll just start again, right? And it's easy to do in today's times. It's not even societal pressure. Divorce is normal now. Yeah. I think the harder thing to do is to say you hurt me, but I'm willing. Like that's hard to do.
But is there a limit to that?
For sure. Now I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about the multiple times. I'm not saying that I'm not being the poster boy for infidelity and saying like let them cheat and you stay there and you just deal with it. I'm not being a poster boy for that. What I am saying is that the couples who have went through that and have come on the other side and are now happy, who are on the road to healthy and are working, both people doing the work, I think that's a beautiful thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
Cheating is like, it's abusive, right? It's not physically, but it is mentally and emotionally abusive. You have to manipulate. You have to lie.
It's so many things.
You have to deceive.
It's rejection.
Yeah.
Emotional abuse. It's betrayal. It's so many things.
And so how do I sit in the face of abuse and just be like, oh, you made a mistake? I want to love like that. I really wholeheartedly do. Mm-hmm. But I think that we're too quick to just brush off the cheating I'm society. But the physical abuse or the narcissism or the gaslighting or whatever the buzzwords are now is like, no, you should not be in a relationship with someone that does that to you. But we should forgive the cheater. It's all that stuff wrapped into one.
I do think that there is a little bit of distance between physically putting your hands on somebody and causing someone physical harm and cheating. They're both wrong. But one hurts emotionally and one is like life-threatening.
Well, I'm not comparing those two. I said emotional and mental abuse.
Oh, for sure.
That is that. And so I said you hear all the people, all the therapists, all the Facebook posts now using those two buzzwords, narcissism and gaslighting, as a red flag. Like, these are people you do not want to be in a relationship with. I am almost
positive that 80% of the people who use the term gaslighting have no idea what it means. Also, narcissism. There's so many people who throw that word around and they just throw it around. They throw it on people who might have bad character. Yeah. They throw it on people who might be egotistical, who might be a little self-absorbed.
That's actually a legitimate mental illness.
Yeah, like none of those things are narcissism. Mm-hmm. Like, no, he didn't listen to you. Yes, he was emotionally abusive. That does not make him narcissistic. Most narcissists, when you call them a narcissist, it is a badge of honor. That doesn't even insult them. It's like, yeah, I am. And like, you're not hurting their feelings. When you call somebody a narcissist, a true narcissist is like, yes, and what? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Most overused word, and I know I just went on a tangent about it, but I'm so sick about it.
It's okay. But what I was trying to say is that those things are things that we tell people. You don't want to be in a relationship with someone who has these characteristics, but it's not. When they cheat,
yeah. Like, I wouldn't tell anyone to, like, if I wouldn't tell you to start a relationship with a cheater. Like, if someone is
you stay with a cheater.
I think you shouldn't step into marriage unless you're like, you know what you're stepping into, unless like you're aware of what's the worst this person could do. Can I handle that? If not, let me be clear. Like, I knew from jump, like, you told me, like, this is something I can't deal with. I didn't agree with it, but at the same time, like, I don't plan on cheating on you. So it's like, okay, well, I mean, I might not land there, but I'm just not gonna cheat on you. We'll be good. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But like, ultimately, I lean more on the side right now of, I think it's so easy to get divorced, and I don't think at the first sign of infidelity somebody should run away. That's just me. Now, every situation is different. Like, I'm right now, I'm more so on like, do the work beforehand, do the hard conversations on the front end, have these conversations, be open about the bedroom, be open about your desires, be open about what you feel like you need and that you're not getting. Like, all of these things will help you function and nurture your relationship. But in the event that it does happen, I'm just not, like, I'm never in counseling, in ministry, I'm never advocating somebody to walk away. I'm not telling nobody what to do, but I'm always leaning on the side of, okay, are you in this? Like, are you willing to make it work? And even on the front end, right? Like, in the counseling portion, like, if I'm involved in that, I'm going in like, hey, here's a real thing that a lot of married people go through. Mm-hmm. What does that mean for you? What does that mean for you? You know what I mean? Like, absolutely. Nobody wants those things to happen.
Absolutely.
How do we handle it? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah. If we just talk about the human side of it, I get it. When I start thinking about the spiritual side of it, it's a different realm of understanding for me. Like, I don't apply the same logic. I don't apply the same emotions I do, because I really want to be that. I want to step for what I say I believe in. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, everybody has their own personal views and convictions and non-negotiables. And I think that has to be evaluated at the beginning of a relationship, which is why we had that conversation. Now, again, I believe we can make it through anything. But this is just something I don't even want to walk down.
like ain't nobody signing up for that. Like, hey, let me see if let's see what this hitting on.
Just from the jump, let me tell you, if you don't want to be in a relationship with me, this is what you can do. But if you want to be here, this is what you can do. And I think we land on cheating because it is so prevalent in relationships, in marriages, but it's not the only thing that exposes your commitment, your level of commitment. And one thing that I think is very, very under discussed, but is highly detrimental to relationships, is just how much people throw out the word divorce. Like, if you don't get along, if you have a disagreement, if you have a problem or a hurdle that you're trying to work through, the threats of divorce, just throwing out that word. And I hear so many couples that come to us and like, we're talking about divorce. He said divorce. Like, it's just something that is constantly brought up in your relationships. It, to me, exposes your level of commitment if you're constantly using that as a weapon. Because if we don't get along, if we can't agree on something, if the kids do something, your first response to me is, we should get a divorce?
She's a bro.
Look.
She's a track
we need to sit down and talk about something. Because to me, I don't even want that word to come out your mouth. Like, it shouldn't even be on the forefront of your mind. It shouldn't, and it should definitely shouldn't be your first response in difficulty is, maybe we should just get a divorce. That is a red flag that I missed in my first marriage. Yeah. We discussed divorce before we ever got married. And I should have been like, hold on, pause, wait a minute. Why are you even talking about that? But I do believe that people use it as a way to show how serious they are about a particular topic. But I think it's very hurtful and very manipulative and detrimental to moving forward if I now have to be worried about the fact that if I don't do something right or if we don't get along, you're going to leave.
Yeah, honestly. Honestly, you can't really deal with the heart of a matter if I'm doing something out of fear versus out of a desire, right? Like when I stop doing things based off of what I truly desire for us versus what I'm scared is going to happen, that doesn't hold enough weight. Yeah. And that's why I came back with you on that one episode when we was at Ryan's room. He said, I think all men should have a little bit of fear for their woman. I'm like, that don't mean nothing.
It's a healthy fear. It's not like I'm scared. It's not that. I don't want to get back into that because I feel like I get so fired up because I'm like, you just don't understand what I'm saying. I'm not talking about being afraid. I'm talking about the same like fear.
I don't want her to leave me
that we have for the Lord. Like, we won't do certain things because we know who He is. Like, I just don't want you to consider doing certain things because you know who I am. Like, it's not a fear. It's not like, I'm gonna.
When you say you know who I am, what is that?
And you know what I mean to you. You know who I am in your life, and you don't want to jeopardize
reverence and respect.
Yeah, reverence. Like, that's why I said fear.
That
like,
words don't.
It is the same thing. Look it up in the thesaurus or something. Like, it's in there.
I heard it like biblical terms, like the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge.
That's what I mean. Like,
but
it's just that's like I'm not going.
Is it applicable outside of the Lord? Is it applicable outside the Lord?
I believe so. I believe fear and reverence can be in any, like, to anything that's important to you. Like, I feel like it can be that. All now, right. If it's blasphemous, my bad, Jesus. You know my heart.
I officially understand
I didn't mean like, you're going to be scared that I'm going to kill you. I know that I did use a pretty bad reference because I talked about Blueface and Krishan. But it was just in conversation. I was just trying to give you like it's just like certain stuff, you shouldn't try because you know who you with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now I understand. In the conversation, it definitely was sounding more like, I'll kill you, so don't do it.
I mean, that too, but that's not what I was trying to communicate.
See, when you mix them two things together, Them two things, it automatically makes me like not hear the other point about respect and reference.
But I did say that on Ryan.
You did.
I definitely said that.
Conversation don't even go together. Oh my God. I think, and I know we kind of landed and kind of put a lot of emphasis on cheating, but it's just so many things that lead to the demise of people's relationships. Finances, right? Where the money's funny, you're struggling to pay bills, and the stress of life just weighs on your relationship. Now we can't even function as a couple because we're just dealing with the weight of life, right? That is something that's going to challenge your commitment. It's going to expose your commitment. Like, how in this are you with me?
Raising kids. Well, definitely, especially in a blended family, because we always, now even if you don't say it out loud, you be thinking of my kids and your kids.
Oh wait, save it for the blended family episode. We gonna unpack this.
I really feel like that. I really feel like that though. Even if y'all share the kids, it can definitely expose your level of commitment, because what happens in some relationships is, especially what I see it is from the woman's side, when she gives birth to a child, all of her focus and attention now is on rearing this child and trying to balance, and I'm only going to speak for motherhood because that's all I've ever been, trying to balance motherhood along with being a wife is one of the most difficult things that I've ever had to do, because these kids didn't ask to be here.
Yeah, I be whooping your butt for real.
Listen, the kids win half the time. I'm not going to lie to you. I'd be like, look, well, she need me right now. Hold on, I'm gonna come back to you. But right now she crying. She need me.
You remember a couple of days ago when I was like, I feel like you don't like being a mom.
Yeah, that was weird to me.
It was weird, but I realized why I landed there is because you're so different in terms of your interaction with me when the kids are here.
Yeah,
I think I assess that with she not happy.
No, I'm just really focused
on the kids.
Yeah.
So I realized that the other day when Ania wasn't feeling good, we were like, dang, is she okay? I watched how you were very doting and affectionate with her. And I was like, it hit me then like, oh, it's not that she don't like being a mom. She don't like being a wife at the same time she's being a mom.
It's hard. Like, it's a challenge.
She don't like doing the two at the same time. I swear.
I think that's another whole episode, because it's for real. It's a struggle.
Because the whole time I'll be like, man, like I be having so much fun with her when they go to their other parents. But it's like as soon as they get back, it's like, hey, it's like, not now. These kids is hungry. I need some help with these dishes when you go.
My babies are here.
Like, what happened? What happened? We was being nasty last night and we was playing cards. We was playing Phase 10 last night. What happened to the joy? Like, it's a whole episode. We need to come back to it.
But managing that, and it's truly a struggle. And it can expose your level of commitment based on how much you're willing to put into your marriage while you're raising kids. And I think a lot of people falter because they only focus on raising the kids once the kids are in the picture, and they let their marriage and their level of commitment to maintaining their marriage.
And here's a real gripe that a lot of men I know feel this, because I've had these conversations in private, but they never say it out loud because it sounds crazy. But I know this is real. There's a lot of men who deal with the degree of jealousy with their kids and their wife.
Absolutely.
Like,
I can see that.
I want your affection. I
your
love
attention.
my kids. I want you to love them, but I don't want to feel like I'm competing. Like, I know you have it in you to be affectionate, because they getting all the kisses, all the hugs. My love language is physical touch, and it's like I'm not here right now. You know what I'm saying? And it's a whole episode. I almost like, it's so much I want to go into, but we'll do that on another episode. It's such a good conversation. But man, this is such a good conversation. I feel like there's so much more can be said, and we'll be live on what day we go live now?
Thursday.
This Thursday at 8:30. 8:30. This is how you know it's been too long. I don't know what we do here. Thursday at 8:30 p.m. ish.
Yeah, Facebook and YouTube. We will be live. So come kick it with us. I think this is a good conversation. There's so many things that you will face in your relationship and in your marriage that can expose your commitment level. So our encouragement to everyone facing this right now, if you're not married, is to have those conversations up front. Be able to assess how committed somebody is to you. You can tell whether you're a priority in someone's life very early on. What did Kia post the other day? If you wasn't with them on Thanksgiving, if they didn't post no pictures of you, it is not the will of God.
If
like, don't try to make it happen.
If you couldn't go over his family house yesterday, and if you can't post pictures of him today, that is not your man. Like,
it's not in the will of God. He ain't committed to you. If he might not even be somebody else's man. He just not committed to you, or he or she, because girls is players too.
Yeah. And I said this on one season. They tore me up in the comments, but I stand on this. When a man wants you, you don't have to do a whole lot of second guessing about it. When a man truly wants you, you're not wondering, dang, is he into me? Dang, does he like me? It's no doubt about it. He's bringing you around family. He's bringing you around friends. He's looking for his uncles to give him the... All right, I see
that's
you,
your
nephew.
nephew.
That's your nephew. They want that, and they step behind what they want. Like that's a legitimate thing that happens. And you, when you feel yourself questioning, does he like me? Is he into me? Is he serious about me? It's a high indication. Not always, because there are other factors, but it's a high indication that he might not just be sure about you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And if he's not sure about you, you need to be sure that you should be reserving some things for when he is.
Listen, if he ain't sure about you, you need to be sure about you.
Yeah.
You got to know who you are and what you bring to a relationship. And I'm saying he, but he or she, if they not sure, you need to be sure about yourself. You need to know fully who you are and what you bring to a relationship and what you are willing and aren't willing to accept. And once you know that, you won't put up with things that are less than that.
100%. 100%. Listen, we're so glad to be back. Thursday, we'll be back with a live. It'll be on streaming platforms on Friday. And we'll be back with another episode next Tuesday. Always remember, if you can't cook, putting parsley on top of it after you're done ain't gonna fix nothing. And we love.
But wait. But if you can cook, the parsley adds just a little bit of razzle.
Hey, give it a little presentation.
And I want to say that we did a plug at the beginning of the show. But if at all you want to support our show, you can always do so by liking and sharing our content. And you can also give monetarily to $ what they never told us pod on Cash App. We have other forms, but we're just going to share the Cash App. If you don't have Cash App, hit us up. We'll show you how to get it to us. And if you are interested in advertising on the show, we really want to open our platform up to businesses that we love and that we support on a regular basis. So if you're interested in advertising, you can always hit us up at whattheynevertoldUspod@gmail.com.
Absolutely. And if you know this episode can help somebody, if you made it all the way to the end of this episode and you're like, yo, I know someone who needs to hear this, do us a favor, share this with them. That's all we ask, is you help spread the word and help build a platform and help us impact people who need these conversations.
Absolutely. And until next time, we love.
And y'all should love too.
Peace.
Peace.